So, so yeah, um, first experience ever in my life. I just watched something take its last breath and totally and completely die, perish, give up its everything on this side. That's the first time I ever sat and watched and stayed and let myself feel everything that I was feeling. And I was already out here feeling kind of like, I don't know the word, squeamish, because I'll go take another video, but there's like millions and millions of like shells, like right at the shore, and like they have like things in the, I don't know what, barnacles, corals, I don't know. They're shells, and they have like, they look like moving snails, and they're boring into the sand, and it's really creepy. You can't get to the water unless you're stepping all over them. You feel like you got stepping on, like, just getting over my issues with clusters of anything. And so, boy, God is really working, doing some work on me. But anyway, so I go and I watch this blessed little bird taking its last breath, and this annoying bird attacking it while it's trying to die peacefully. And so I went down there, and some kind of way the wave made it turn toward me after I took that video of it taking its last breath, and I thought it had died, and it didn't. And then the beaks and the eyes were pointed toward me, and I just started staring at it and just feeling what it feels like to watch something die. I mean, I've always known death, and I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't fear death, but to watch it like that, it did a couple of things for me. It gave me peace. It made me sad. Made me grateful that I was here to experience it, so that it didn't die alone, and I let that poor little bird know, or sweet little bird, or blessed bird. Maybe it's a blessing that it died, because it obviously was injured. But that was different. I was not expecting that. I did come out here, and I felt like God really wanted me to spend some time just here, but I was not expecting that. And that's the beautiful thing about a creator, is when you just relinquish wanting to be in control, you get to experience wondrous things. And that was something that I needed to experience. It definitely was something that I absolutely needed to experience. I see the ocean is starting to pull it out into the sea, so maybe it'll be blessed with becoming nourishment for sea creatures. But I'm humbled. I'm humbled by my experiences lately. I have been going through um, transformation internally on a lot of levels, and today just feels so new. Yesterday, getting up and going to the bus and seeing that Bible, that book, it's basically a Bible from Genesis to Revelation, of every account of angels. And then they included pictures that people have done over the years, over thousands of years, of history, narrated through the Bible and painted by some amazing people. So it is a great book. I'm excited to be able to share some of those things too. But right now, I just wanted to talk out my feelings and stuff. I feel like the shivers, the vibrations, the energy. I feel it flowing all up and through my body. I've been out here praying and meditating and talking to God and really feeling the presence of God and really letting go. This is my season for letting go. And it's not easy. It's really not easy. And this experience was awesome because instead of running away like I always do and avoiding something that I know is going to make me feel intense emotion, I sat with it. And it was not the best feeling, but it wasn't the worst feeling. And after it was all said and done, it was the best feeling. I had another experience this morning where I really saw what kind of fears I deal with personally on a personal level. I wanted to get out and have breakfast, but I didn't want to go to the regular, you get tired of your regular old neighborhood spot. So I just Googled and looked up a place that was actually on 4th Street, and I got a little leery because it's a little racy on 4th Street, even though I'm a rider and I get out in these streets and I walk fearlessly. But, as I learn to look for the good and look for the God in everybody as I interact with people, because I've been on this thing of just wanting to be to myself. As I'm walking to this little breakfast spot, this man is walking toward me and doesn't have a shirt on. You can tell he's like just hyped up and living off life. And I'm like, I always have this internal battle back and forth. We as humans, we spend so much time avoiding eye contact with people when we walk by them on the streets. And I'm really trying to have the spirit about me like Jesus, that's open and welcoming and loving, but I also just want my space. I don't want to be pulled in anybody's drama or anybody's stories anymore. I just don't want to. I'm not in that place in my life right now. And this man stops and I speak to him and I keep walking, but he's like, "You don't remember me?" And I kept walking. I just didn't want to have a conversation. I smiled and I waved my hand because I don't know this man. And as I'm walking, there's a woman across the street trying to get my attention. So she's trying to cross the street in the wrong way to get my attention, just so that she could say something to me. But I'm riding off the effects of the man, trying to avoid and get away from him. And the next thing I know, she crosses the street and I'm waving my hand like I don't have anything. Judgment. I totally judged her. And she looked at me and she goes, "I was just going to tell you that I do hair." And I turned and looked at her and I'm like, oh yeah, I do hair too. Thank you though. But she was so offended and so annoyed by my reaction of just not wanting to stop, not wanting to talk to her on the street. And I get that. And I instantly felt guilty and felt bad and all of those feelings. And I had to really shake that off and realize that I'm not obligated to anything but my internal situation. And my internal situation was that I let fear control my perception and my judgment. So I sat with that and I let that sink in and realized just how we have wrong turns with people, and situations like that on a bigger scale causes war. Just assumption. I just assumed she was about to ask me for money. And maybe she was after she was going to tell me she was going to do hair, but she was so offended by my response. We don't know what the outcome could have been because I stopped her in her tracks without even knowing what she was going to say to me. I just wanted to walk to the breakfast spot without having a conversation with anybody. Sometimes life doesn't give you that. Sometimes there's another plan. And I'm grateful that God always allows me to come back to that. That self-care is absolutely prime, primo, top shelf, number one. But so is love. So is love. So, do you feel guilty and sit around and beat yourself up? No. You just remember to choose love. Choose love.